Welcome to Just Relationships, the show that offers you concrete ways to make your relationships better. Whether it's your boss, your spouse, your children, or your friends, the quality of your relationships in life directly affects how you feel about yourself and the success you achieve. Your host, Dr. Duffy Spencer, a psychotherapist, telecoach, author, and seminar leader, will interview top experts to help you learn to manage this essential part of your life. And now, here's your host, Dr. Duffy Spencer.
Greetings to you. Well, you are in for a treat. You know that expression, no more Mr. Nice Guy? And we often have very passive, nice men who suddenly become Mr. Hyde. And we have very, very strange views of what masculinity should be like in our culture. I refer to it as toxic masculinity. The title may be a bit deceiving. You will hear what Dr. Robert Glover wants you to know about a proven plan for getting what you want in love, sex, and life. Welcome, Dr. Robert Glover.
Dr. Duffy, thank you for your invitation.
Oh, my pleasure. And I just want to tell you that a very dear friend and colleague of mine, he's an expert in couples therapy and recovery therapy and all of it, was reading this book, and I asked him if I could look at it and read it, and I was enthralled. And your book is very important, and it's overdue. In our society, there's lots of miscommunications about what masculinity is and what it should be. And you go ahead and just tell us what you mean. And by the way, you are also a recovering Mr. Nice Guy. So,
yeah, I was just about to lead with that.
Yes. So
I am indeed a recovering nice guy, and that's how I came to launch into trying to understand what it's about and how so many men got to be nice guys, as I was at one point in my life, and how to live life differently. And as you indicated, the title of the book, it creates a little bit of emotional dissonance. When you say, well, no more Mr. Nice Guy, why would anybody teach men to be not nice? There's enough not nice men out there already. And as I think most of us have said at some point in our lives, well, no more Mr. Nice Guy. And of course, I'm not teaching men to be not nice. I'm teaching men to be what I call integrated males. So just a little snapshot of what a nice guy is. A nice guy is basically a man, and by the way, we'll probably touch on this. There's lots of nice girls out there too who fit the same description. But a nice guy is a person who usually at a very young age inaccurately internalized beliefs about himself and the world, and he came to believe that he wasn't okay just as he is, and therefore he developed a life paradigm, and like I said, usually at a very early age, I'm talking about months or just a few years old, and developed an internal belief system, a roadmap that says, number one, I have to become different. I have to become what I think other people want me to be in order to be loved and liked and approved of. And number two, I need to hide anything about myself that I think might cause other people to react negatively to me. So nice guys are basically trying to become something other than what they are. They repress their own natural self. Most nice guys don't even know who they are because for so much of their life they've been seeking to become what they think other people want them to be, seeking approval, caretaking, fixing, problem solving, giving to get, and also hiding so many things about themselves, their needs, their wants, their sexuality, anything they think might get a negative reaction from other people.
And this theme is so familiar to me in the women's literature. And so what is the particular angle for males in our culture?
In terms of nice guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're right. when I wrote No More Mr. Nice Guy, and I actually didn't set out to write a book. I'm a marriage and family therapist by training, and I'd started working on my own issues. I'd gotten into therapy, actually trying to figure out why being a nice guy wasn't making my then wife happy. Mm-hmm. And making her want to have sex with me more often and appreciate what a great guy I was. So I actually went to therapy trying to figure out why being a nice guy wasn't making her happy. Mm-hmm. And then luckily I got into some good men's groups, got into 12 steps, got with some good therapists, and started learning, healthy things like setting boundaries, making my needs a priority, being honest, things that, I already had a PhD in marriage and family therapy, but these aren't any of the things I'd actually worked on in my own life. And about that time, a lot of the men coming to me for couples counseling, often with their wives or girlfriends, were saying the same things I was thinking and saying. I'm a good guy. I treat her better than her ex. I'm raising her kids. I give her everything she wants. I'm always available, but it's never good enough. She's never happy. When's it going to be my turn? She's angry all the time. She never wants to have sex anymore. And I could finish these guys' sentences for them. And I thought, how did so many other guys get to be? I thought I was the only one maybe living with this roadmap. And I came to realize at least there were a few other guys like me. So I started a No More Mr. Nice Guy men's group, and this is over 20 years ago as we speak. And I started just writing some lessons each week as we met to give them about what I was coming to understand about nice guy syndrome, and it eventually, over several years, turned into a book. But I believe we live in a unique time. And you mentioned the confusion around masculinity, and yes, we are confused around probably everything that has to do with gender and gender roles and gender types. And what my theory is that probably beginning 50, 60 years ago, with a lot of transition of fathers not being around the home as much, either through working away from home, through divorce, through single-parent families, through boys being more exposed to primarily women growing up, having primarily women elementary school teachers, no clear masculine role models, maybe the feminism of the 60s and 70s, and especially the angry feminism that lashed out against men and masculinity in general. And a lot of boys grew up really not knowing what it meant to be male and primarily being influenced by their mothers, by female school teachers, by maybe angry voices of feminism. And this has continued where more and more boys are growing up in single-parent homes. And I, having written the book over 25 years ago, I even see more and more and more young nice guys coming along. So it truly is epidemic.
Yes. And the idea of having to be nice to women, I'm thinking about how men often complain that I was too nice to her. And she wants a bad guy. She doesn't want a nice guy. What is that about, Dr. Glover?
That's a good question, and I've heard the various versions of that for a long time. So one of the things I mentioned is that for a lot of boys, for example, in the school system, just to get from 3rd to 4th grade, if they've had all female teachers, not only do they have to learn reading, writing, and arithmetic, they have to learn how to please a woman. Yeah, and basically guess at what that might be. And so. Yeah, I've heard a lot of guys say, things like, no good deed goes unpunished. Mm-hmm. I try to be nice and all I get is this negative stuff back. Women tell me they want a nice guy who treats them well, but they tend to go for the jerks, the bad boys, the unavailable men. And that's a whole story in itself. But basically what I tell men, that for women to feel attraction for a man, they have to experience what I call emotional tension. Now, that can be positive emotional tension, it can be negative emotional tension, but they've got to feel something, right? And for nice guys, when a guy is trying to be nice to a woman, listen to her talk about her problems, buy her drinks, never rock the boat, volunteer to help her sister move, but just be that that passively pleasing, placating man, it doesn't create any emotional tension. And the woman may think he's a great guy, may think he'd be a great catch for some woman someday, but it just doesn't create any emotional tension for her. And then what often happens, men complain about, is they end up in what they call the friend zone. And I tell guys, women don't put you in the friend zone, you put yourself there by being so passive and pleasing. But the bad boys, the unavailable men, the players, they create emotional tension. Now, maybe negative emotional tension. Maybe they can't be trusted. Maybe they're not available. Maybe they're married. Maybe they're sneaking around. Maybe they don't call back. Maybe they lie. Maybe they're doing drugs. Maybe they're in prison, But there's an emotional tension there that activates something inside of women. And so, again, I'm not teaching men to be the bad boys, to be the jerks. But in terms of relationship, I do believe that men have to consciously live their life in such a way and interact with women in such a way that creates the kind of emotional tension that creates a buzz inside of a woman that she wants to keep going back to that.
I love that expression, emotional tension, Dr. Glover. I absolutely love it. And being put in that way, either positive or negative. And when we look at works of Mating in Captivity, Esther Perel.
Oh, love that book. I've said that if I were to write another book, it would be that book.
It would be that book. The whole idea of too much ease and familiarity and adding some sort of tension, distance, mystery. And what you're saying now, that little snippet, because I do a similar work as you, and I'm very familiar with these issues. But this framework that you accept that there's emotional tension, yet it can be positive. And what I'm guessing is that making it positive by setting boundaries, by saying no. I'm not here just to please you. I want to please you if I can. Your needs are as important to me as mine are.
And you're right. And there's so many ways when a man is conscious, both in how he lives his life, regardless of what woman he happens to cross paths with or be in his life, and how he interacts with women. There are so many ways that men can consciously create this kind of positive emotional tension. And you've kind of alluded to what I'll call having a differentiated self. And that is a clear sense of who you are and what you want, and walking the planet and living your life on your terms. That's actually attractive, for the most part, in general, to women.
I couldn't agree more. Yes.
Yeah, he's got a sense of self. He's living life on his own terms. That doesn't mean he's selfish or egotistical or self-centered. He may still be very generous. He may still be very compassionate and very caring. But as you said, he has boundaries. And one of the things I tell men, probably the most powerful way I know to create emotional tension with women is to be honest, to be completely honest and transparent. And nice guys are not. Nice guys are always kind of holding a finger up. They lick the finger, they hold it up, check which way the wind's blowing, and make sure they don't do anything that might create tension with a woman. Because a lot of nice guys think, well, if a woman's upset, or if she's agitated, or if she's in a mood, or if she's experiencing anything other than calm, she's not going to want to have sex with me later on. And I tell guys, for in general, for women, drama is foreplay. They need something that's exciting and energizing for them to want to go further with it. And when men try to keep everything calm and smooth and put out whatever fires are going on, they kill all that tension. So if a man is completely, fully, transparently, authentic, and honest, that is an amazing turn on for women. Not only does it make a woman feel safe, it also creates some tension because it's real. It's real. It's down and dirty and real.
Right. Something like, I would like to help you out, but I just would like you to learn it yourself, and I will be happy to teach you, yet I'm not going to continue to do it for you. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel good. Oh, but I'm angry with you. You're not being a good husband. I'm sorry you feel that way. And let's talk about how come you feel that way. What do you need from me, and what do I need from you? that kind of dialogue, Dr. Glover?
It can take so many different forms, and if you will, I can tell you a couple quick stories that were one. I'll go back several years to when I was in my second marriage, and this is when I started working on my nice guy issues. And I started working with a woman therapist who was a few years older than me, and she helped me a lot in my nice guy recovery. Her greatest asset was she liked men, and she liked empowering men. And I remember talking with her, and I was only about maybe 3 or 4 years into my marriage, and my wife, for me as a guy, I thought, well, she just complains too much. She would just get off on a